Is brought to you by the Snyder Law Group. Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Welcome back to Fox 45 Morning News, 7:30 coming up on as you take a look outside there. It's pretty.
It is. The Ravens emblem is still painted on Fed Hill over there. If you see that top right below that Toyota Bug that just popped up, right there is where you can still see it. That's some pretty good spray paint.
Well, welcome back to all of you. I'm Patrice Sanders.
And I'm Tom Rogers, and we have your traffic and weather together, and we do that every 10 minutes.
Candace Stoll, keeping an eye on the commute, but let's get over to Jonathan Myers and get a look at the forecast.
Yeah, right now it's 7:30 in the morning, a mild start. We had temperatures at 63 for a high yesterday, and already the temperatures are in the mid to upper 50s. So here we go. Temperatures about 15 degrees warmer than yesterday as we work into this afternoon. Unfortunately, though, it comes with the risk of rain and maybe severe weather. Notice the rain moving toward Boston. Another batch, another weather maker that's out around St. Louis, and that's going to come at us this afternoon. Maybe not in time for picking up the kids from school, but you'll start seeing those clouds billow. And shortly thereafter, severe risk moves in. I'll let you know where it's going to be worst in about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Jonathan. And we've been talking about the big story out along 95 this morning, a deadly crash on the northbound side. The activity is right past that White Marsh Boulevard stretch. Now, they have started to reopen some lanes, so at least that one lane that is now closed, the rest of them are open. You still want to use an alternate route because this has been this way for hours. So I would stick with 47 or Bel Air Road instead. Back over to you. 7:31, a tangible sign of the investigation into Baltimore Mayor Catherine Pugh as we await a decision on whether she will resign or go back to work. Take a look at this. Massive digital billboards at 8 locations across the city are now calling for tips. Each billboard reading, "End corruption now. Contact the FBI to report public corruption." Meanwhile, 2 more of Mayor Pugh's top aides have been fired after being placed on leave originally. They are Chief of Staff Bruce Williams and Director of Government Relations Karen Stokes.
Now, this comes as council members introduce new charter amendments to limit mayoral power and crack down on corruption. They would allow city council to remove future mayors, override a mayor's veto, and also hire a city administrator who would then manage the day-to-day operations of the city. Still ahead in our next half hour, though, why we could get answers today about the mayor's future with Baltimore. Another shocking case of reported bullying in Baltimore County after a child says he was thrown off of a moving school bus.
As Project Baltimore's Chris Papps explains, the family is now taking extreme steps to stop the bullying.
I just wish this would have never happened. It has turned our world upside down.
Brian Kite quit his job and pulled his 6 kids out of school. And now,
It's sad that I even got to do this.
he's packing up their home.
We're moving. We're relocating. We're taking our kids and leaving.
He's headed to West Virginia with few plans, but fewer doubts.
We have to find a better school for my kids.
That school's not in Baltimore County.
It's not even in the state of Maryland.
Kite says the past 6 months have been hard for his kids, especially Jayceon. He's 6 years old and goes to Featherbed Lane Elementary in Baltimore County. His 10-year-old brother looks out for him, but their dad says the bullying has gotten out of control. He says both boys come home scared, running from the bus to their front door. And then earlier this month, something happened on the bus, and Jayceon never made it home.
He threw me out the window and I landed on the street. No car didn't run me over.
Jayceon says an older student who had been bullying him called him to the back of the bus. His brother tried to stop him, but couldn't.
He pushed the emergency button to open the window, and he threw me out the window.
Jayceon was thrown out the window of the bus.
While it was moving.
While it was moving.
While it was moving.
Kite raced to the scene. He says Jayceon fell head first and was knocked unconscious.
I'm scared to death, you know. I show up, and he's already in the back of the ambulance, and I didn't even get to talk to nobody because the ambulance was in a very big rush to pull off. So I jumped in the ambulance. I was thinking I might be losing my child. And it was terrifying.
The first grader was hospitalized for 3 days. Medical reports say he suffered frontal skull fractures with small head bleeding. He was put on seizure medication. The police report is incomplete. The officer hadn't watched the surveillance video, but Kite says he has, and it shows Jason was pushed out the window.
How long was he unconscious?
More than a day.
More than a day?
More than a day. I'm seeing my child there, completely unconscious, unresponsive, fighting for his life. And, I mean, all I could think about was, God, please help my son.
As a parent, I'm angry because as parents, we send our children to school to learn and to be safe.
Attorney Ivan Bates is representing Kite. He says the father reached out to him while in the hospital.
My first instinct was to make sure he was okay. Once he was okay, and once we talked a little bit more, I knew he needed help, and then I knew I was going to take the case.
Bates believes this could be a possible lawsuit against Baltimore County Public Schools. He'll be conducting his own investigation to see if the school failed to protect Jason.
It could have been avoided and should have been avoided.
I'm scared. You know, I don't know if my son may ever be the same.
You got it? The next few months will be telling. Jason is still recovering.
I can do these.
He doesn't remember much, but he does remember what put him in the hospital and why he won't be going back to Featherbed.
Go that way.
Why don't you want to go back?
Because he threw me out the window.
Because of this. My children actually approached me, and I never put these words into their mouths. My children actually approached me and said, Dad, we are scared to go back to that school. Do we have to go? And I'm a parent. I love my children. And with them saying that and the look on their faces, I can't send them back there. I can't.
Baltimore County Public Schools told us the Featherbed Lane community was notified of the bus incident on the day it happened, but they said they would not comment further or debate individual cases in the media. Now, are you seeing bullying and violence in your child's school? We want to hear from you. Do you have a story that you want to share, something you want us to investigate? Call our hotline, send me an email, go to foxbaltimore.com to follow our progress. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.